I have my most recent OC that's going on in the background, and what I'm going to talk about today is how I go about character creation. I know there are word prompts or creating a voice first, things like that, but for me, they aren't enough to kickstart the ideation process. So I read a lot. I usually start with a blob or a scribble. It really doesn't look like anything, but for this character, I had an idea forming already. The foundation of this character originally came from a book I read. The author, Neil Stephenson, is a terrific world builder. He gives an enormous amount of detail about the characters and environment in his books. So for those of you who say, I don't know what to draw or I have art block, go read a book. There are people who have already created characters in minute detail and whole worlds for them to exist in. Actually get a physical book, immerse yourself in it, let the images form in your mind, allow yourself to see, hear, smell everything in that imaginary world. For this character, I used the description and the images that came to mind as the foundation for the final creation. Other ideas came from popular culture or whatever it was I was watched on Netflix last. I think it was Predators. I had to limit the ideas from the book because it was too extensive. There were way too many choices to make. As an example, this particular character had access to technology that would allow the main mode of transportation, skateboard, to alter itself to traverse most any terrain. While that is interesting, that kind of thing distracts from the character, unless you want that to be your main focus. Like I said, read a book. You don't have to come up with an idea from scratch. Pick and choose, then mash them together. Basically, the description from the book is a female protagonist who is a delivery person whose main mode of transportation is a skateboard. For on-time delivery, she is rewarded. Payment, accolades. For late delivery, you are punished. No pay, worse jobs, and possibly death. This is kind of grim, so taking parts of the character, like the skateboard minus the technology and the idea, if you aren't successful, you may die. I think who would want this job? The obvious answer is an insane person. And that started my process. Next was, what is my checklist for insane? First would be crazy expression. Second would be an intimidating instrument meant for great bodily injury. And last would be bleached white skin. In my mind, I have a final image of the combination of ideas I've gone over, and it looks something like this. A female anti-hero that is possibly the offspring of two of the biggest antagonists of a certain pointy-eared protagonist. B, since insanity runs in the family, taking a job that may kill you isn't a deterrent. C, displaying the family colors because it's not optional. I'm kidding, really. Not really. D, the very clear statement of the consequences of non-payment or lack of gratuity. These are the elements I've compiled in the story I tell myself when I'm doing thumbnails and sketching the character or environment. Like the sketch happening now, it's an iterative process right to the end. Nothing is set in stone. The pose or facial features can change on my whim if I feel it doesn't serve the narrative. Toward the end, I made a change in her weapon. What I had, a machete, didn't convey that insane but intimidating sense of playful mayhem, so I changed it to a spike club, since slice and dice seemed less playful than puncture and bruise in an insane kind of way. So reading is the main impetus of character creation for me. since there is 100 years or so of source material that would interest me, mainly science fiction. But there's fantasy fiction, western, whatever your tastes are. Having a literal library of authors to choose from has made character creation so much simpler. If I feel like I'm stagnating or stuck, all I have to do is change authors, pick up a different book to get a different perspective or a different style of literary prose that will shake me out of my mental funk. Anyway, that's how I go about character creation. I hope that was helpful, and we'll see you next time.